Good day, everyone, and welcome to Medical Ultrasound Academy. Today, we are discussing gallstones or cholelithiasis on ultrasound. This is a very common finding in abdominal ultrasound, but our objective is not simply to identify a bright structure inside the gallstones, inside the gallbladder. We want to understand the sonographic features that allows us to confidently diagnose a gallstone and recognize associated complications. So what we have here is it's a characteristic gallstone. You can see it there. This is the gallstone that we're having. So looking at our case, imagine we can already appreciate a very important feature in echogenic structure within the gallbladder, which is producing prominent posterior acoustic shadows, as you can see here. So you can appreciate the shadows that we're having there, the distal acoustic shadows that we are having there. So, what is cholelithiasis? Cholelithiasis simply means the presence of calculi or stones within the gallbladder, as you can appreciate or as you can see that is happening here. So, gallstones develop when components of bile precipitate and form solid materials. They broadly classified into cholesterol stones. We've got what are called the pigment stones, and then we've also got mixed stones. From the ultrasound perspective, however, our primary concern is recognizing their characteristic appearance rather than determining their biochemical composition. So we can't really tell the biochemical composition of stones using ultrasound. So why ultrasound? Why then do we have to consider ultrasound? Ultrasound is generally the first line image examination for suspected gallstones. It has several advantages. It is non-invasive, does not use ionized radiation, can be performed rapidly, and allows us to examine the patient dynamically. So importantly, we can change the patient's position and observe whether an echogenic structure moves. So this dynamic assessment is extremely useful when differentiating gallstones from other gallbladder abnormalities. So the classic appearance of a gallstone, there are three major features I want to remember when looking for gallstones. The first is echogenicity. A gallstone usually appears as a bright echogenic focus on structure within the gallbladder lumen, as you can see here, as you can appreciate there. So look at that echogenic focus that we are having there in the lumen of the gallbladder. So the second is the posterior acoustic shadows. So you can see the acoustic shadows there that it is casting there. Because the stone strongly attenuates the ultrasound beam, we frequently see a dark acoustic shadow extending behind it. So the third is mobility. That's the other attribute of stones. Most uncomplicated gallstones are mobile and move towards the dependent portion of the gallbladder when the patient changes position. So you can see this one, the gallbladder, it moves by gravity. It's very mobile. So remember, echogenic plus posterior shadows are mobile and strongly supportive of a gallstone. So if you see a structure within the gallbladder that is mobile, echogenic, and then with a posterior acoustic shadow, we should think of a gallstone. So looking at this case, now let's concentrate on our image. Let's consider this image that we're having there. The gallbladder lumen is predominantly anechoic as expected for bile. Within the dependent portion of the gallbladder, we can see an echogenic calculus, which is prominent echogenic calculus. So immediately posterior to the calculus, there is a clean acoustic shadows. This is the key diagnostic feature is demonstrated in this image. So when you see this appearing during scanning, don't stop with a single static image. Turn the patient and determine whether the position changes. So the importance of patient positioning, one of the most important techniques when assessing suspected gallstone is repositioning the patient. Start with the patient in supine, but if necessary, examine the gallbladder in left lateral decubitus, semi-erect or erect position or oblique positions. If the suspected calculus moves with gravity, this provides additional evidence that it is a stone. Small stones can hide in the gallbladder neck, so careful scanning through the entire gallbladder is essential. So gallbladder versus a polypoid mass. This is an important differential diagnosis. A gallstone usually demonstrates posterior acoustic shadows and is commonly mobile. A polyp is, in contrast, arises from remains attached to the gallbladder wall. It generally does not move when the patient changes its position and typically does not produce the same clean posterior acoustic shadows as the typical calculus. Therefore, patient repositioning can be helpful to differentiate the two. So, gallbladder versus sludge. Sludge can also produce echoes within the gallbladder. However, sludge typically forms low-level internal echoes and may layer within the dependent portion. It usually does not produce strong, clean acoustic shadows within a typical gallstone, unlike the typical gallstone that we have. Sludge can move slowly when the patient changes position. Occasionally, sludge becomes very thick or forms a sludge ball, making differentiating very difficult when it forms a sludge ball. So this is where dynamic scanning becomes very valuable. So don't stop after finding the stone. This is one of the most important teaching points. Once you identify gallstones, continue examine the gallbladder. Ask yourself, is the gallbladder distended? Is the wall thickened? Is there pericholecystic fluid? Is there tenderness? When I press directly over the gallstone with the probe, is the stone impacted in the gallbladder neck? Is the biliary dilated? We now moving from simply diagnosing cholelithiasis to looking at the challenging complications, which is acute cholecystitis. So, acute cholecystitis, gallstones alone do not automatically mean that the patient is acute cholecystitis. In suspected cases, cholecystitis evaluate for common combination of findings such as gallstones plus gallstones wall thickening, gallbladder distension, pericholecystic inflammatory change, or fluid position, which is called the characteristic Murphy sign. So no single ultrasound finding should be interpreted completely or independently of the patient's clinical presentation. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for now. Let's meet again in another presentation. Bye.